What's up, everybody? Very exciting day today. I told you guys it was going to be a very exciting day. I also told you guys it's probably going to be today that all this stuff dropped. So we have a new event, and we also have all the skills for the new monsters, which I already read through, and I was looking at them, and some of them I'm like, wow, this is OP. Wow, this is OP. And some of the other ones I'm like, is this OP? I don't even know how I feel about this, because it's such a weird departure to have, because a lot of them are, you can't get, they can't crit, right? Which is great against Mihos, and Ragdolls, and Artemiels, and some other stuff too. But they cannot crit with their, the 4-stars cannot crit with their skills. But anyway, we have this, we'll get onto that in a second. New Monster Update Special Event, which we do get a scroll, which I also mentioned. I mentioned we're probably going to get a scroll from the new event, from the next the event, from whatever, because we saw this with the snipers, we saw this with the gargoyles, we saw this with the string masters, so I just assumed we were going to see this again with these new units. We also do get the SP summon button back, which I also mentioned. I think I mentioned it in Saturday Morning Summons. I mentioned it in stream. Where else did I mention it? I mentioned it a few times in a few different videos in a few different places. So SP summon is indeed back. Very nice, so that we can potentially get these units. And they even said it for the Street Fighter event. They were like, this is not going to be the last time you see the SP summon button. Or someone said that, I don't know. But that's why they didn't call it a special Street Fighter rate-up button. This is just a SP summon button, right? So it looks like it's going to be a thing that we continue to see in the future every time, I hope, every time new monsters drop. That's kind of what we should have already been seeing, is basically banners. It's kind of like banners, except that there's no guarantee. So it's not really like banners. Anyway, let's go on. How to earn points. You get points, and then you cash in the points for the scrolls, right? If you get 100 points, you get one of the new scrolls. So summon default monster once, a 3-star, 1 point, and they give you some summons, but not really that much. Summon default 4-star monster. You can also summon new monster, Onmyouji or Onimusha once, 10 points. Which kind of defeats the purpose of wanting the scroll if you already have the unit. Well, you still get the other units, right? Monster and via monster summoning pieces won't count. You will earn a total of 20 points for summoning new monster once. Get mystical scroll when you ever get 10 points, etc., etc. And then you keep collecting. These other the points, and then you eventually get Onimusha scroll. Summons a random attribute of fire, water, or wind. I think one of them, someone mentioned it was a Nat 5. One of the Onimushas. Was it the... Well, we'll get to that. I think it was the dark one. Is that a Nat 5? The other ones are 4s. Anyway, we'll take a look at it in a second. Upgrade the new monster Onmyouji or Onimusha, and then we get all this stuff from upgrading, right? Cool. We don't really have to go too crazy about looking at this event. It's just, you some things, you get stuff. Let's take a look at these. 2 new monsters. This is the 622 update. 2 new monsters, Onmyouji and Onimusha. So this is, all of these are 5 stars, and these ones are 4, 4, 4, 4, and the dark one is indeed a Nat 5. So we only have 4 4-stars here and 6 5 stars, 6 Nat 5s. So we already kind of looked at the fire Onmyouji over here. In a previous video, right, when they leaked the skills for the 2, this one and the light Onimusha. So, first skill attacks, the enemy removes 1 beneficial effect. Second skill attacks, the enemy target suppresses the target, which is a new debuff, excluding the boss for 2 turns. Suppressed target will have the HP reduced by 50% if the target uses a skill with cooldown time. A lot of people getting excited. You could, combo this with Molong or Bulwark and stuff like that to completely nuke a unit down, or Skogul even, things like that. The Yin-Yang Bounded Circle is exciting, but you have to actually apply the debuff, right? You have to apply the suppress debuff. Yin-Yang Bounded Circle. I mean, we'll see how it applies, if it's just like a normal debuff or different. Because remember, we had the dark Howl that has a different kind of debuff, where like there's little spirits floating around whatever unit you steal the attack power from. So maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like a random, like a regular debuff. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see soon. Attacks all Yin-Yang Bounded Circle. Attacks all enemies. Increase the duration of harmful effects granted on them by 1 turn each. Absorbs the attack bar by 10% for each turn of harmful effects on target. This one seems like we're getting excited about the suppression. I feel like this Yin-Yang Bounded Circle, man. I feel like, because that is like a light Rakshasa, but an AoE. And I feel like we're not giving that enough credit. That is probably going to be a pretty nasty skill. Right? I really feel like that's going to be a nasty skill. Anyway, water support. We already talked about that. We already went over that. Water Onmyouji. Same first skill. Past life spell. Second skill. So this one's a little bit odd. Summons the soul of the dead ally. Use the target skill once. Uses the target skill. So basically, it looks like a revive, and then it uses the skill of the revived unit. That seems weird. So I want to actually see what that does specifically, because sometimes you need to see like how it exactly works, because some of the translations could be a little wacky, as we've seen from the past. At this time, the target's passive skill won't be applied. When used on a living ally, grants soul protection on the target for 2 turns. So at least this still has something to do when the unit is not dead yet. And then all things in nature. This one seems very cool. All things in nature applies all harmful effects granted on this battle. All harmful effects granted the whole battle. So you want the battle to go on a long time before she uses this skill. To each enemy for 1 turn and applies all... or you could even do it like you could be the aggressor, right? You could do harmful effects to them, and then... after the harmful effects come off and whatever, like the next turn, you could do all things in nature again and then get more harmful effects on them. So, applies all harmful effects granted in this battle to each enemy for 1 turn each, and applies all beneficial effects to each ally for 1 turn each. So, the interesting thing here is I'm seeing this and I'm like, yo, what if you pick this as a counter to Ciara? What if you pick this as a counter to Ciara teams, and then Ciara gets a few turns, she bombs this unit, she bombs that unit, you cleanse the bomb here, you cleanse the bomb there, you do this, you do that. A few turns later, she uses all things in nature, applies all harmful effects granted in this battle to each enemy. So would that grant like several stacks of bombs on each enemy for like on against the Ciara team? Like that seems crazy. That's it. That's just my take on it. That seems like a crazy skill. So we'll actually see how OP that potentially is. That seems nasty. There's another game that I play casually on the side, and it's got a similar thing to this. And like when you use that skill, it like changes the whole battle, and like you are basically guaranteed to win at that point. It's pretty nasty. So yeah, it's a very similar skill to this, and I've seen what it does in that game, and in this game, if it does anything, if it does what I think it's gonna do, it's gonna be really nasty. Then we have the wind support one. We got the same strip first skill. This one has the suppress, which is the same as the fire unit. And then comeuppance passive recovers the attack bar by 25% if an enemy uses skill with cooldown time. The cooldown of karma resets if the suppress effect granted the enemy gets activated. So this is kind of interesting. This reminds me of like the Dark Horus, right? Recovers the attack bar by 25% if an enemy uses skill with cooldown time. So if the enemy uses skill 1, it doesn't really do anything. But if you're going up against, like, for example, a cleave team, right? And then like you know Bastet, or like for example Draco and Bastet. Countess does not want people to use cleave teams. Draco and Bastet, right? If they have like a Draco, Bastet, Lucian, whatever, they'll use Draco. They'll use skill 3. She increases her attack bar by 25%. They use Bastet. She also increases her attack bar by 25% again. So, depending on, as long as her speed naturally would be faster than the Lucian's, like if Lucian is like 200 speed, if she is like 230 speed, she's going to overfill her attack bar more than Lucian is, and then she can do what? She doesn't really do much after that, right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking there is like, the enemy uses skill with cooldown time and she cuts in, but she doesn't really do too much after she cuts in. Maybe you guys feel differently than I do, but I just feel like she cuts in and then she does karma. If she cut in and she did something crazier than karma, maybe I'm not fully seeing the picture. I just feel like she's maybe the one that I would be least excited about. Oh, Bagel already said what his least excited monster is going to be to summon from this. The one I'm going to get, isn't it? I know that's the one I'm going to... It's going to be like, Europe server account. Oh, day 1, summon a wind Onmyouji. And I'm like, great. Cool. I don't know. I just don't get excited about her. Maybe. You let me know what you think in the comments below. Oh god, don't ever ask them that. Light 1, Burning Soul attacks the enemy, removes one. It's the same thing with skill 1. Past life spell summons the soul of the dead ally, uses the target skill. Once again, the one that we have to see how it works in person, right? And then so that we're, those are for the same as the water one. Yin Yang 5 elements limits the number of turns for harmful effects on allies and beneficial effects on enemies to 1 turn. Bombs or bye bye Hathor. Hathor's in store. She's like, not really even used that much this season, but okay, I guess. Bombs or skill used by bosses are excluded. So all the harmful effects on allies and beneficial effects on enemies are only 1 turn. Actually, you know what? That's kind of nasty against, like, if the enemy brings like double immunity, like Velajul and Rusa. Again, not stuff that is currently used too much this season necessarily. But, yeah, all harmful effects and beneficial effects are only 1 turn. So, Velajul and Wusa, only 1 turn immunity. Vigor, only 1 turn speed buff and crit resist, right? Not that these units crit resist doesn't even matter against these new units, but these new Onimushas, the next ones that we're going to take a look at. But interesting, though, that potentially is very nasty. And then we have the Burning Soul. Again, it's bosses, though. Bosses are excluded, so just keep that in mind when you're excited about the Dragon's B12. She's the LD5 anyway. Okay, Dark one, Burning Soul, same as the other ones. Karma is the Suppression one, is the same as the Wind one, and is the same as the Fire one. And then the one she has different is the Curse of Death. Grants the Curse of Death on the enemy target. So this is interesting. Excluding the boss that cannot be removed to reduce the... So cannot be removed. Keep in mind, cannot be cleansed or anything. Reduces the HP by 25% each for 4 turns. Cannot be applied to 2 or more at the same time, and the effect disappears when the caster dies. So every time the enemy moves, 25 less HP, 25 less HP, 25 less HP, 25 less HP. So interesting. And then she has the Karma on top of that. So she's basically like a voodoo witch doctor poison unit. Where she's got the Curse of Death and she's got the Karma, and then the enemies are just, anytime they're doing things, they're dying. It's pretty nasty. Pretty interesting. Pretty nasty. So, yeah, that one should be fun to play with. By the way, guys, I feel like I have to actually say this. I don't think I should have to actually say this. If you guys summon the new units, you can email me and let me play with them. I'm just saying. The email's in the About section of the channel page if you guys want it. Anyway, there's gonna be a bunch of people emailing me now. Please fix my account. Like, God, that's not. Okay. Okay. Now on Onimusha time. Fire Onmyouji, go slash, attacks the enemy 2 times. Attacks the enemy 2 times, recovers HP by 30% of the inflicted damage. Decrease defense for 2 turns with a 20% chance each. Not a huge chance to decrease defense, though. Not a huge chance, but at least it's a double hit. We'll see what it goes up with skill ups, but yeah, we'll see that. Blade Slaughter attacks all enemies, grants endure effect for yourself for 1 turn if an enemy gets defeated, but does he do enough damage to actually defeat things, is the question. And then Forestall passive, increase your defense by 50% of your attack power when the battle begins. So you basically just build him like full YOLO attack, like attack as much attack as possible. Inflicts additional, and he also kind of gets some tankiness too. Inflicts additional damage proportional to your defense, kind of like Feng Yan, when you attack on your turn. Critical hits won't occur when attacking the enemy, so you have 0 crit rate that you need. Hey, new players, newbies, that only farm giants and have 0 crit rate and are like, can I put fatal attack? Guys, these are the units for you. If you have bad runes, these are the units for if you have no rage runes. If you have only fatal runes with attack, you've been saving up all those attack slot 4s. You're like, I'm gonna do something with this one day. It's attack slot 4, but no units aside from bombers really use attack slot 4 now. This is your time to shine. This is your time to shine. Do you have no crit rate on your units? You don't even need them anymore. You don't even need crit rate anymore. So, kind of buffs people that have bad runes. Now you guys excited. You're like, yes, buff my bad runes. Yes. So this is interesting. You basically rune this like a bomber, honestly. You just rune it like triple attack, as much attack as possible. And get speed and subs. That's about it. That's about it. Wow, what a wacky monster. But I guess it makes use of the runes that would normally otherwise just toss. So that's not bad. Ghost Slash, same as the other one, right? Ghost Wild Dance. Wild Ghost Dance. Attacks all enemies 2 times, recovers HP by 30% of the afflicted damage. Am I that excited about that? Maybe not that exciting. I don't know. Gonna be a good Fayman farmer, guys. And then Underguard Shift. Increase the attack power by 10% each, up to 250% whenever monsters except yourself get a turn. Critical hits won't occur when attacking the enemy. So, and he's an attack type unit as well. The wind one is an HP, the light one is an HP, just to keep that in mind for these Onimushas. So, increase attack power up to 250%. I wonder what their multipliers are. Because, I mean, here's the thing. If we think about, like, who else kind of works like this right now is, like, the Water Phantom Thief. We tried out with just, like, YOLO attack and see how he does. And it wasn't, like, anything too crazy. Like, it wasn't, like, a crazy amount of damage. Because we always rely on those crits for damage, right? For the extra damage, it makes a big difference. So, I'm not really sure that these guys are going to do a crazy amount of damage, but I guess it depends on the multipliers, right? But increase attack power up to 10% each, up to 250% whenever a monster except for yourself gets turned. Critical hits won't occur when attacking the enemy. But that's for all of these guys. Critical hits won't occur when attacking the enemy. So Ragdoll Artemiel, probably. I mean, Ragdoll Artemiel is still going to be strong. Actually, it's not going to be like super weak. It's not like these 4 stars are going to define the meta now, but more like these are all nice counters to Miho and maybe Molly. But then do we put these on like Destroy against Molly, right? I wonder if I would put these on like Fatal Destroy, which just seems just weird to say. But I don't know. We'll I guess play around with this. I'm not super excited about it, aside from the fact that increased attack power up to 250%, which is nice. But actually, that's gonna take 25 turns. We'll see what the multipliers are, really. If the multipliers are crazy, then there you go. But I don't get too excited about the water one. I guess we'll see. Wind one. Okay, let's go into the wind one. First skill, same as the other ones. Blade Slaughter attacks all enemies, grants endure effect if an enemy gets defeated. But it's an HP unit. Keep that in mind. It's an HP unit, and it doesn't. I don't think it's going to be damage based on HP because it doesn't say that here. And then calculated sacrifice decreases your current HP by 20% at the start of every turn, inflicts additional damage by 20% of the lost HP when you attack on your turn. And it doesn't say that he heals with skill 1, but he doesn't have these heal with skill 2 thing. Critical hits won't occur when attacking the enemy. So, kind of like a Trevor, but doesn't need to crit, which is weird. But it is additional damage based on 20% of the lost HP, so you could potentially, I mean, you could use that as like a Shield Will Cleave unit, I guess. 20% of the lost HP when you attack on your turn. I don't know, man. Because he's kind of like Skogul, where Skogul does damage based on his HP, right? Just pure damage. So this is looking like it's pure damage based on his lost HP. I just don't know if these things are going to be like super OP. I think they're going to be like, you use them against Miho, I guess. But maybe that's about it. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like I'm going to regret saying that. It's going to be like, these guys are super OP, Bagel. Let me explain why. Then we have the light one. Attacks up. Same first skill. Same second skill. Attacks up. Blade Slaughter, AoE, endure effect if the enemy gets defeated. And then the banging head against the... enemy. He's HP based. Bang head against a brick wall passive. Counterattacks the damage received by the enemy is less than 25% of your max HP. Critical hits won't occur when being attacked by the enemy. So this guy's going to be good for defense. He's going to do defense breaks here. He's going to have an AoE. And then he's going to not be able to crit. And then he's also not going to be able to take any hits. So you build him... I would say you build him fast and tanky. You put him on defense. He might be good on defense. That's kind of where I'm seeing for this light one so far. But I guess we'll see. He seems kind of more useful. Like the light one seems the most useful so far. And the other, and these are all 4 stars. So I don't think these are going to be too crazy exciting. You may just like rune him up and have him built for like siege, and maybe that's it. I hate to say it, but that might just be it. And then we have the dark one, Nat 5 though, LD5. So we're not all gonna get this guy. Even if it was a LD4, we wouldn't all get this guy. Attacks the enemy 2 times. Well, it's the same first and second skills. Attacks all enemies, recover HP by 30% of the inflicted damage. And then Indomitable, critical hits won't occur when attacking the enemy like the other ones. Damage increased by 50%. You won't die under inability effects. You won't die under inability effects. That's pretty big. Removes all inability effects granted on yourself when the turn starts, and the damage increased by 50% additional on that turn. So keep in mind, another unit that removes inability effects when the turn starts, Juno, Pater, both of those are strong units, right? So, he's potentially very strong, but he's an LD5. So, this is the most exciting. I feel like this guy's the most exciting of the new Onimushas. And then the light one is the second most exciting, but they're also the ones that almost none of us are going to get. And then what do we have here? New monster rate up. So we have SP summons, right? SP summons there, which I already mentioned. And then basic skill sound renewal. You know what? This is kind of interesting, though. So they're changing over the course of time. They're going to be changing. They said renewing the monster skill sound continuously, but they're changing a lot of the sounds. But most of us use no sound. Some of us, I'm sure, play with sound on, but most of us don't use sound. We're like, oh my god, gross sound. Oh my god. So yeah, quality of life improvement. So like I think many of us are not even gonna notice this. However, I'm curious if they're going to be renewing other things in the future, not just the sound. So keep that in mind. They might be renewing other things in the future as well, because that's kind of like out of left field. And then quality of life improvement. So now we have this little thing for monster storage down here. And then this thing for quests for summoners who haven't cleared the scenario area. So that's just early game players. Not too many of them, but this is nice at least. And then this is one for YouTubers. They're like, hey guys, we want to make sure that you keep making those summon videos so you can have these. Not just us. Not just us. Everyone actually benefits from this. If they don't know what they want to choose, they could just do select later. Instead of closing the app and coming back to it, they could just choose select later, which is nice, which I feel like should have already been there. But yeah, it's not like it's super crazy late, like 5 years late, like usual. Summoners can now change their summoner name once for free, once per account. I'm not sure why they specifically did that, but there you go. And then Siege Battle Season 4. Some cool little appearance effects. And then this is Siege Battle Tournament stuff. New backgrounds and stuff. So there you go. I think that's about it. Who do I feel like are the best, most OP units in this? I think the water... This water one is pretty cool. I would not mind getting her. And then the LD5s. The LD5s, and aside from the LD5s, like the light Onimusha and the water Onmyouji are going to be the ones that I'm most excited about, I guess. I'm not going to get any of them, so it doesn't really matter, but yeah, we'll do videos on them regardless. So anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm sure you guys are going to be like, Bago, you missed this obvious, because I always miss obvious things. It's like, you didn't even read it right. Sometimes that happens. It's been a long day. I think I got like 3 hours of sleep or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you. It's going to come soon. It's going to be like I don't know, 2 hours from the time that I make this video. So, but by the time you watch this, it's probably going to be an hour or less. Anyway, that's it for this one. I'll see you as always in the next one.